You know what costs most people their happiness? Trying to explain themselves to folks who have already decided not to understand. There's something powerful about that moment when you finally decide, I'm not going to waste my breath anymore. That's what I want to talk to you about today. The moment you stop explaining yourself to people who don't get it is the moment you start truly living. I've spent decades watching people drain their energy, their passion, their very life force try and make others understand their dreams, their decisions, their desires. And you know what happens most of the time? Nothing changes. Those who don't want to understand still don't understand. Those who've judged you still judge you. The only thing that changes is you. You get tired, you get discouraged, you start to doubt yourself. Now, I'm going to tell you something that might be hard to hear, but it's going to save you years of frustrating. Some people will never get it, and that's okay. It's not your job to make them get it. Think about this for a moment. When you're constantly explaining yourself, what are you really saying? You're saying, my decisions aren't valid until you approve of them. You're saying, I need your understanding to move forward. You're saying, your opinion matters more than my own conviction. Is that really how you want to live? The truth is, the need to explain often comes from a place of seeking validation. We want approval. We want people to say, yes, you're doing the right thing. But I'll tell you this. Waiting for everyone to understand and approve is the surest way to never accomplish anything meaningful in your life. Let me ask you something. Did the great innovators of our time wait for everyone to understand their vision? Did they spend their days explaining themselves to critics? No, they got busy working. They focused on results, not on convincing the skeptics. The skeptics eventually came around, not because of explanations, but because of results. You see, explanations rarely change minds. Results do. Actions do. Success does. When you succeed, you won't need to explain. The results will speak for themselves. Now, why do we feel so compelled to explain ourselves? It's built into us from childhood. Explain yourself, young man. Why did you do that? What were you thinking? We've been conditioned to believe that we owe everyone an explanation for our choices. But the truth is, we don't. You don't owe anyone an explanation for how you live your life, what dreams you pursue, what books you read, what business you start, what hours you work, what investments you make, or what goals you set. The only person you owe an explanation to is the person in the mirror. And let me tell you what happens. When you stop explaining, you get time back. Time, the most precious resource you have. Think about how many hours, no, how many days of your life you've spent trying to justify your decisions to people who are never going to support you anyway. Think about what you could have built with that time. Time is the great equalizer. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. But some people spend those hours building their dreams, while others spend them explaining why they're building their dreams. Which one do you think gets further? I remember talking to a young entrepreneur years ago. Bright guy, full of potential. He had this innovative business idea. But every family gathering, every friend meetup became an opportunity for him to defend his business. No, you don't understand. It's going to work, because let me explain again why this market is untapped. If you would just let me show you the projections. 2 years later, I met him again. Know what? He had a lot of explanations, but no business. He had spent so much time trying to convince the doubters that he had no energy left to prove them wrong through action. Compare that to another entrepreneur. I knew when people questioned her business, she just smiled and said, well, I guess we'll see. And then she went back to work. She didn't argue, she didn't defend, she didn't explain. She built. Today, her company employs over 200 people. There's a powerful lesson there. Let's talk about the types of people who will never get it, the ones you can stop explaining yourself to right now. First, there are the chronic skeptics. These people doubt everything. If you said the sky is blue, they'd argue it's actually azure or maybe a light cerulean. They don't doubt because they're thoughtful. They doubt because it's their default. You will never explain enough to satisfy a chronic skeptic. Then there are the dream stealers. These people can't stand to see others succeed or take risks. Often they're stuck in lives they don't love, and your courage to pursue something different makes them uncomfortable. It reminds them of their own unfulfilled dreams. They'll never understand your path because understanding would force them to question their own choices. You've also got the comfort zoners. These folks aren't necessarily negative, but they value safety and predictability above all else. The idea of risking comfort for growth doesn't compute for them. They're not trying to hold you back. They just can't understand why anyone would leave the safety of the church. Then there are the know-it-alls. These people have an opinion on everything, especially things they know nothing about. They speak with authority on subjects they've never studied in industries they've never worked in. Explaining to a know-it-all is like pouring water into a cup that's already overflowing. There's no room for your input. Don't forget the passive saboteurs. These are often the well-meaning people in your life who say things like, "I'm just concerned about you," or "I'm just playing devil's advocate." They couch their negativity and concern. These can be the most dangerous because their doubt comes disguised as care. And finally, there are the simply uninterested. Some people just don't care about what you're passionate about. And that's okay. Not everyone needs to be interested in everything. But trying to make someone care through explanation rarely works. Now, recognizing when to stop explaining is a skill. Here are some signs that you're wasting your breath when the same conversation keeps happening in circles. If you've explained your business plan 3 times and they're asking the same basic questions, they're not listening to understand. When someone's body language shows complete disinterest, but they keep raising objections, they're not looking for answers. They're looking for a way to be right. When someone hasn't done any of the things you've done, but has strong opinions on how you should do them. Experience teaches lessons that no explanation can convey. When someone consistently misrepresents what you've said, if they keep twisting your words, they're not engaging in good faith. When explaining starts affecting your confidence or enthusiasm, if you leave conversations feeling deflated rather than understood, it's time to stop explaining. I want to tell you about the power of self-validation, because this is the key to breaking the explanation addiction. When you validate yourself, when you approve of your own choices, other people's opinions lose their grip on you. Self-validation starts with clarity. You need to know why you're doing what you're doing, not the surface reason, but the deep core reason. When you're crystal clear on your why, explaining becomes unnecessary. You don't need to convince others because you've already convinced yourself. Think about the truly confident people you know. They don't explain much, do they? They state their position or decision and then they move on. They don't need you to agree because they agree with themselves. That's where you want to get to. Now, this doesn't mean you become closed-minded or stop listening to feedback. There's a world of difference between thoughtful feedback and demands for explanation. Feedback is specific, constructive, and often requested. Demands for explanation are vague, often critical, and usually unsolicited. Building confidence in your decisions takes practice. It's a muscle that grows stronger each time you honor your own judgment. Each time you say, "This is what I'm doing, and I don't need to explain why." Each time you resist the urge to seek approval, start small. The next time someone questions a minor decision, what book you're reading, what hobby you're pursuing, practice saying, "This is what works for me and nothing more." No defense, no justification, just a statement of fact. See how it feels. Notice the freedom in it. Then work your way up to bigger decisions. Your career changes, your business strategies, your lifestyle choices. Practice stating them without explanation. "I'm starting this business. I'm moving to a smaller town. I'm changing industries. Period." Does this feel uncomfortable? Good. Growth usually does. Let's talk about setting clear boundaries, because that's really what this is about. When you stop explaining yourself, you're setting a boundary. You're saying, "My decisions are not up for debate. This is healthy. This is necessary." Boundaries aren't walls that keep people out. They're guidelines that teach people how to be in your life. And one of the most important boundaries you can set is around your right to make choices without exhaustive explanation. How do you set this boundary? With simple, clear statements followed by a change of subject or, if necessary, an exit from the conversation. "I've made my decision. This works for me. I'm comfortable with my choice." Then redirect. "How's your project coming along?" Or exit. "I need to get going." No anger, no defensiveness. It's just clarity and redirection. Finding your true supporters is crucial in this journey. These are the people who might ask questions, not to challenge your decisions, but to understand them better. They're curious, not critical. They want to see your perspective, not change it. Invest your energy in these relationships. Share your ideas, your dreams, your plans with people who have shown they are capable of supporting you even when they don't fully understand. This is your tribe. And here's something interesting. When you stop explaining yourself to the wrong people, the right people find you more easily. You become a magnet for those who respect boundaries and value independent thinking. Now all that energy you were spending on explanations, it's time to redirect it toward growth. Think about it. Hours of debate and justification could be hours of learning, building, creating, or resting. What could you accomplish if you redirected that energy? I've seen people transform their lives with this shift. Once they stop seeking validation from those who won't give it, they find themselves with surges of productivity, creativity, and joy. It's like they were running with weights and suddenly the weights are gone. Let me give you some practical strategies to stop over-explaining. First, develop a mental filter. Before you launch into an explanation, ask yourself, is this person likely to understand or support me? Will this explanation change anything meaningful? Am I explaining because I'm unsure or because they're genuinely interested? If the answer suggests the explanation won't be valuable, save your breath. Second, prepare simple responses for common questions or criticisms. Have them ready so you don't get pulled into lengthy explanations. Think of them as conversation exit ramps. That's an interesting perspective. I'll consider that. I found what works for me. These acknowledge the other person without opening the door to justification. Third, practice the pause. When someone asks for an explanation that you don't want to give, take a breath before responding. That moment gives you space to choose a response rather than react out of habit. Fourth, find explanation-free zones in your life. These are relationships or environments where you don't feel the need to justify yourself. It might be with a certain friend, a supportive spouse, or even alone in nature. Spend time in these zones to remember what it feels like to be accepted without explanation. Fifth, keep a decision journal. Write down the decisions you make, why you make them, and how they turn out. This creates a private space for the explanations you might want to give, but don't need to share. Plus, it builds your confidence in your own judgment as you see the patterns of your successes. 6. Recognize the difference between explaining and informing. Informing is sharing relevant facts. Explaining is justifying. I'm taking Fridays off to work. My book is informing. I'm taking Fridays off to work on my book because I feel that it's important and I've calculated that I can still meet all my obligations and I've been wanting to do this for years, and that's explaining. Learn to stop at forming when that's all that's needed. 7th, become comfortable with being misunderstood. Not everyone will get you, and that's okay. Some of the most impactful people in history were widely misunderstood in their time. Being understood by everyone is not a requirement for success or happiness. There's something I call the freedom of living without justification. It's a particular kind of lightness that comes when you no longer feel the need to defend your choices to those who don't matter. Imagine waking up and moving through your day guided only by your own well-considered judgment. Imagine making decisions based on what you know is right for you, not on what will be easiest to explain to others. Imagine the confidence that comes from trusting yourself enough to say, "This is my choice, and I don't need to defend it." That freedom is available to you right now, today. It begins the moment you decide that your life is not a democracy. Not everyone gets a vote. Not everyone deserves an explanation. I want to be clear about something. This isn't about being rude or dismissive. It's not about shutting people out or refusing all feedback. It's about discernment. It's about recognizing when explanations are requested in good faith and when they're just a form of control or criticism. It's about understanding that your time and energy are finite resources, and how you allocate them determines the quality of your life and the level of your success. Here's what I want you to do starting today. Identify one area of your life where you've been over-explaining. Maybe it's your career choice to your family. Maybe it's your parenting decisions to your in-laws. Maybe it's your workout routine to your workers. Whatever it is, commit to stop explaining that one thing next time the subject comes up. Practice saying that's what works for me, or I'm confident in my decision and nothing more. No defense, no justification, just quiet confidence. Then notice how it feels. Notice the discomfort, yes, but also notice the power. Notice how your relationship to your own choice strengthens when you stop seeking external validation for it. Do this once, and you'll start to see how much of your energy has been going into needless explanation. Do it consistently, and you'll start to reclaim that energy for things that actually matter to you. Remember this, the people who matter in your life don't need constant explanations, and the people who demand constant explanations don't matter much in your life. I want you to think about the dreams you have, the goals you're pursuing, the life you're building. Now imagine pursuing those dreams without the drag of justifying every step to people who don't get it. Imagine the speed you could achieve, the focus you could maintain, the joy you could feel. That's what's available to you when you stop explaining yourself to people who don't get it. I've seen so many talented people get stuck in the explanation trap. They have these brilliant ideas, these bold aspirations, but they spend so much time defending their vision that they never get around to creating it. Don't let that be you. Your life is too short and your potential is too great to waste your days trying to make others understand what they're not ready to see. Some will get it, some won't. Move forward anyway. Think about the people you admire most. The innovators, the creators, the leaders, the ones who changed their industries or their communities. Do you think they waited until everyone understood their vision? Do you think they spent their precious hours convincing the skeptics? And that's not your problem, it's theirs. So from this moment forward, make this your mantra. I know my worth, I know my path. Then watch how quickly you move forward when you're no longer weighted down by the need for universal approval. The life you want is waiting on the other side of that decision. The success you seek becomes so much more accessible when you stop spending your energy on explanations and start investing it in actions. This is your life. You don't need permission to live it your way. You don't need approval to follow your heart. And you certainly don't need to explain yourself to people who have already decided not to understand. Now go out there and build something so great that no explanation will be necessary. Let your life be your message. Let your success be your explanation. The world doesn't need more explainers. The world needs more doers. Remember, your job isn't to make everyone understand. Your job is to live a life so authentic and successful that understanding becomes irrelevant. Stop explaining yourself to people who don't get it. Start showing the world what you're capable of when you focus on results instead of approval. The shift happens today if you decide it does. This moment, this conversation, this can be the turning point where you reclaim your energy from needless explanation and invest it in meaningful action. I believe in your ability to make this change.